Just a quick video to you, Dad. Please know that I love you very much. You are the first example of a man that I ever had. You're my dad, and I love you dearly. I'm just making this video to explain some things. There's some thoughts that have been popping around in my head lately. Uh, and it's more like me working out these initial causes for bitter roots that have developed inside me. And I was examining why I have been, and probably still today, have been such a hypersensitive guy. Remember how I would call Mom in the middle of the night, and I would be crying and wondering if I was a failure, and talking about what Gina had said in the heat of the moment, perhaps out of just frustration. I don't know, I can't speak for her, but you remember those times when I would call Mom in the middle of the night and I just wanted someone to talk to, someone to say what was on my mind, because sometimes I was curled up on the floor in the bathroom, not knowing who to talk to, just in being in a total broken-hearted state, thinking I was a failure and all that. And yes, when I called Mom, that woke you up. I understand that, and I right now apologize for that. That was a number of times, yes. But you see, I'm a very sensitive guy. I'm almost an exposed nerve. I'm so sensitive sometimes. And I admit that I had to develop some kind of discerning callus, if you would. Actually discern what I could be sensitive about and what is worth crying over. Now, my family is very important to me. I love Gina very much. I love our sons very much. They are my world. I work for them. I try to take care of them. I'm not the best at it, but I love them dearly. They are my family. They are my treasures. That is why we name them after precious stones. You know, that is why. Do you remember when you first drove up to our house in Oklahoma and you said that one single word, which was fantastic? And couple that with something else that you said to me, that a dad never really stops worrying about their children until they hit about 30 years old. Those were encouraging things to me. Those were your words of assurance, as if you were saying in a very creative way, "I'm proud of you, son." I still treasure those things you said to me. They're wonderful. Now, let me try to sum up a few things. When I got my master's degree, I did try to chase after a career according to that master's degree. I tried very hard. But as hard as I tried, it was a coupling of the state of the economy at the time, even now, and the simple fact that I didn't have the skill sets to become well-established and completely successful. I had to have experience, and I got some experience, and then the economy kicked in, and I suspect that people would rather pay for their rent and put gas in their tanks and food on their tables and make sure that their kids are fed, rather than paying someone like me to either completely make or to repair something shiny that they could put on their finger or something to hang around their neck. That's the state of the economy. You know, it's still sort of that, but it's starting to get better, at least in some regards. But my point is this: that is partly why I didn't chase after a career in jewelry. It's because there was no jobs. There was not a market. It was the market dried up, and those businesses who have already been firmly established were already in place and they could absorb it somehow. Some either retired or they downsized just to survive. That is why I became working in a couple warehouses. That's why when that dried up, I became a stay-at-home dad, because our very survival was more important than my pride. I couldn't feed my sons on huge slabs of pride. Do you understand? I couldn't till in a field that wasn't bearing crops. And at that time that I became a stay-at-home dad, that was when Gina started chasing after her career, and which brings us up to today. She's the main breadwinner when it comes by sheer amount of money that comes into the house. And that is why now I'm a janitor at Humboldt State. You know, I know it seems demeaning for someone who has 3 college degrees, and one of them's a master's. And I know you had dreams that I would be a professor of some sort, you know. And I still have that plan. Maybe someday, I don't know. Maybe it'd be like Monster University, where Mike and Sully, they went from university and they screwed up there, and then they started becoming working in the mailroom at Monsters Inc. Then they gradually rose up and became the top scaring team. Well, I'm speaking of cartoons, and I know you don't care for cartoons, but that is the allegory I can think of. I hope you can understand that. I'm sure you can understand that. But you see, well, my point is that we are working very hard to take care of our sons, to have a good home, to have a good place for our children to grow up in, and to make sure that Jasper and Jade, that they get the therapy that they need, that the tutors they need, and the medical care and all that, especially Jasper, for all the things that he's going through now. It is worth staying up until 1, 2, 3 in the morning to make sure that Jasper is taken care of. I'm not going to go into further detail about what he's going through now, but he is home. He's doing a lot better. My point is this, going back to the roots of the bitterness and my own hypersensitivity. It goes back to this deeply rooted fear I had of rejection. You know, I'm an oddball, all right? Let's just put it that way. Your son is an oddball. He doesn't have 1,000 friends. He doesn't have 1,000 acquaintances. And he doesn't go around and visiting during the business of my day and chatting and joking and all that. That's you. That's kind of what I wish I was. You know? The point is that I'm me. I am not a carbon copy of you. In many regards, I wish I was a carbon copy of you. Your hardworking, your skills, and your ability to make an income and to profit and prosper from those skill sets. You're an amazingly talented man. In a number of ways, I'm in some ways, I might think, if I may brag, amazingly talented. But it's a different decade. It's a different environment. And I'm trying to do the best I can. Now, when it comes to my fear of rejection, that was the main root of why I called Mom on those late night hours and just bawled my eyes out. When I got fired from those jobs, when I got moved out, when I got, ultimately, I had to swallow my pride of being the main breadwinner of the house and become a Mr. Mom. Something that I would think that you would think is a male equivalent of a Peg Bundy. And it's not true, because Peg Bundy was a negligent, self-absorbed narcissist. Anyway, and if you, I don't know this directly, but you may have said you have probably, Not probably, I know you joked about it. That a woman staying at home, just doing a little bit of dusting and cooking some macaroni cheese and when you come home from work, and she just lazes around all day around the house. Part 2 coming up.